What is up, guys? My name is Yinan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I have to say I make my first gaming video and it's about Helldivers and about my favorite class and my favorite gun, and Arrowhead has the audacity to go ahead and nerf it the day after I post the video. So this video is really just going to be about the patch notes. Since timing can't be any better, why not just go ahead and make a video about the patch notes? So the update came out on April 2nd, and it's going to be update patch 01.000.200, and it's available now on pretty much anywhere that the game is available on. And it has a lot of stuff that we have to go through, but one of the major things that kind of gets to me is I just recently made it to Skull Admiral level 50, and Arrowhead goes ahead and adds another 100 levels. So that's actually fantastic. There's more grind to it. Let's get it. Getting started with the changes, we got gameplay. So when it comes to gameplay, they added planetary hazards, they added blizzards and sandstorms. I personally haven't experienced these just yet, although I am extremely excited to see what, how they are and what changes they bring to the table. Any diversity added to the battlefield in Helldivers 2 is more than welcome. When it comes to the balancing changes on this update, they moved away the spawn points further from the objective to give players a fairer chance to defend the location, so they say. I don't think it's a big change that they did. It's still an absolute pain in the ass. I might just be unlucky in every single time that I played today. I don't think it's a big difference. And also, there are fewer civilians required to complete the mission on higher difficulties. This is wonderful. This is a great change. They also changed the destroy command bunker missions because the mission was way too easy compared to other missions. And it'll also appear on difficulty 5. Now, I think that's also a great change for, more mission diversity on lower levels. That way you're not just kind of repeating the same missions over and over and over again. Operation modifiers, they have the negative effect of operation modifiers that increase stratagem cooldown or call-in times. I never thought that there was a problem with this. I always thought that it added a kind of different level of challenge to the game and to the gameplay itself. You have to be a little bit more considerate and not just spamming your stratagems. Although I also see why people will be very upset about this, simply because Arrowhead is always saying use your stratagems, use your stratagems, use your stratagems, use your stratagems, and penalize you for using your stratagems. So I completely understand why people were upset about this. Next up, we have primary, secondary, and support weapon changes that they implemented in this update. Now, I'm gonna try to go rapid fire with this. I'm not gonna dig too deep into them. It is a lot of changes, but I will point out the changes that kind of got on my nerves, because of my last video talking about the slugger. So here we go. The arc thrower, they fixed charging inconsistencies. It will now always take 1 second to charge a shot. Arc thrower, reduced distance from 50 meters to 35 meters. Arc thrower, increased stagger force. Guard dog, now restores full ammo from supply boxes. Anti-material rifle, damage increased by 30%. Breaker incendiary, damage per bullet increased from 15 per bullet to 20 per bullet. Fire damage per tick increased by 50% from all sources. Liberator Penetrator now has a full auto mode. Finally, it might make that gun useful. Dominator, increased damage from 200 to 300. Dominator, increased stagger. Diligence Counter Sniper, increased armor penetration from light to medium armor. Slugger, reduced stagger. Slugger, reduced damage from 280 to 250. Slugger, reduced demolition force. Slugger, fixed armor penetration tag in the menu. Slugger, Liberator concussive Senator fixed incorrect armor penetration tags in the menu. Recoilless rifle increased the number of rockets you restore from supply boxes from 2 to 3. Spear increased the number of missiles you restore from supply boxes from 1 to 2. And heavy machine gun. The highest fire rate mode reduced from 1200 RPM to a more moderate 950. Now I don't know about you, but all those changes to the slugger feel completely unwarranted. It's almost like they thought the slugger was overpowered, and anybody that uses the slugger knows that it has a lot of power. It was never overpowered. You could easily be overrun by this gun, and against automatons it's not anywhere near overpowered. It was a very balanced gun, and now it's still useful, but it's not as good as it was. Moving on over to enemy changes, they did some balancing adjustments to some enemies, including the Charger, whose normal melee attack now does less damage against the exosuit, which I think is a very necessary change, especially when getting hit from the front. I know the side you could take a couple more hits, but the front you were one and done. I don't think that was really supposed to be like that. The Bile Spewer and Nursing Spewers do less damage with their puke. Now, even though I absolutely hate the living guts of these two enemies right here, I don't think that nerfing them is the way to go. I think, nerfing, yes. Making them do less damage, no. I think that just kind of makes the game easier, and it's not in a positive way. I think maybe making them a little slower, or they're tracking when they are puking a little less accurate. That would have been a better way to do this than flat out making them less damaging, but that's the way that they decided to go. Then we have the Bile Titan, which can no longer be stunned. Shriekers no longer create bug breaches, and Shriekers hitting you while they are dead now does significantly less damage. They also did some changes over to the armors, so heavy armor and medium armor are supposed to protect you a little bit more than before the patch. So now heavy armor provides an additional 10% protection, and medium armor protects you an additional 5% pre-patch and now post-patch. And Fortified Commando and Light Armor is unchanged. Continuing with the patch notes, we have some regular fixes, and I'm going to be running through these because it's a decent sized list, but here we go. Fixed issue where save settings for PS5 will be reset when the game is rebooted, causing things such as loadout and hint settings to be reset. Finally, if you were affected by this bug, you know how tedious this is, and I'm pretty sure it was the majority of people, but those of you that were not affected by this, you do not understand the pain of loading into your ship and having to select your loadout every single time. Next up, enemies now properly target exosuits. Previously, many enemies effectively ignored exosuits if the Helldiver on foot was available for them to target. Fixed exosuits being able to fire their weapons while opening the minimap. The Helldiver and the exosuit both had a bug that made them sometimes take explosion damage multiple times, making things like automaton rockets be too deadly. This is now fixed. Automaton enemy constellations that preferred to spawn more of certain Devastator types did not work and are now functioning as they should. This means that sometimes when playing against the automatons, you will face more Devastators instead of other enemy types. We have improved the system that prevents Hellpod steering close to larger or important objects, which this is fantastic. Now you can actually move your Hellpod instead of the game deciding no. We have solved an issue where the effective area around objects was a lot larger than intended. We have reduced the amount of objects that prevent Hellpod steering. And finally, fixed cases where the ground under some assets could be bombed, causing them to float. Now, bear with me, we're almost done with the patch notes. I know this is kind of long and kind of excessive, but Next up is the ballistic shield changes. They changed the collision mesh to slightly increase the size for more forgiveness, change shield poses so that less of the Helldiver is exposed, and address the bug where parts of the Helldiver will become vulnerable while using the shield in first person. Known issues. These are known issues where either it was introduced by this patch or is being worked on, or are from a previous version that have not yet been fixed. And this one is funny. The game might crash if you pick up a snowball or throwing back a grenade. Wait, correction. It might crash if you when picking up a snowball. Now, there are a whole bunch of other issues that have been in the game for a minute. I'm still gonna read them out, and this is the final section of the video. So here we go. Cross-platform friend invites might not show up in the friend requests tab. It's been like this since the game pretty much came out. Players cannot unfriend other players befriended via friend code. Yeah, that's still a thing. Players cannot unblock players that were not in their friend list beforehand. Players cannot befriend players with Steam names shorter than 3 characters. That is actually kind of hilarious. Explosive weapon stats include only direct hit damage, but not explosive damage. Explosions do not break your limbs except for when you fly into a rock. Planetary liberation reaches 100% at the end of every defend mission. Drowning in the deep water with a vitality booster equipped puts the Helldiver in a broken state. I don't know how many of you guys have gone through this and have been stuck there just waiting for a miracle, but this has to be fixed soon. I think that should be kind of priority. Stratagem beam might attach itself to an enemy but will deploy to its original location. And finally, some player customizations like title or body type may reset after restarting the game. Luckily, I was not affected by this one, but I was affected by the even more annoying reset your everything. But yeah, that's the full patch note list. I got this from Polygon, and I'm going to be linking it down in the description if you would like to read through it yourself. But I have given in a full detailed breakdown of every single thing that was listed on this patch note. And thank you for yeah, bye.